Hi everyone, and welcome to US Federal Contractor Registration's Friday Bid Training Orientation. My name is Anna Rose, your host for the afternoon, and we have a really exciting show coming up for you today, so I'm really excited to bring this to you. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is Anna Rose, Training Coordinator here at US Federal Contractor Registration. You might know me from the daily bid training calls. If you don't know about bid training, send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. My email address is anna@usfcrgov.com, and I'll tell you all about how to get on my daily trainings. So on Fridays, we want to get your weekend started with some good motivation, great motivation, and excellent motivation.
That's a lot of motivation.
It really is. And today is a great day to celebrate because, drumroll please, our government did not shut down. Yay! Democracy! Woo! I know. Oh, could have had balloons, but it's all right. We're celebrating on the inside because this is a win for the USA, and it's a win for you because the government is going to spend money, and they're going to keep buying from vendors like yourself. That's right. The government buys virtually everything from private businesses, just like yours. So US Federal Contractor Registration helps you to get those opportunities with a couple of different important assets. First and foremost, our case managers, who basically become your paperwork person, so you can focus on doing your best and not having to worry about registrations or certifications. So later in the show, you're actually going to get to meet the leader of case management here, Jessica Summers. Super excited. She's wonderful. We're so lucky to get a few minutes of Jessica's time, and she's going to talk about how she makes sure that businesses are going to get paid from the federal government with or without a government shutdown. The other asset that US Federal Contractor Registration provides is the APP. So APP stands for Advanced Procurement Portal. Now this portal is amazing. It helps you everywhere from finding opportunities to getting information about other vendors that you can connect with on contracts. There's a learning center in there so you guys can actually learn about everything you've ever thought about for federal contracting, templates, you name it, it's there. So I definitely want to get to that. But before we do, we are going to go ahead and have some other conversations going on. So before we go ahead and look at APP and all the current opportunities that are going on in that area, for those of you who aren't set up in APP, you can always email me at anna@usfcrgov.com, and I can get one of our amazing specialists in contact with you who can walk you through the process of getting into APP. But last thing, before we get to the show, we're also going to have a Q&A at the end of this video. So as you can think of any questions that pop up into your head, put them in the chat and we'll answer all of them because we're live right now. So let's connect. Feel free to type your questions in the chat and I'd be happy to answer them. So as you all know, a couple of weeks ago, the government shut down, and that's all we heard. That's all you heard were about the government shutting down, and contractors were super nervous because we know that you talked a lot about it and it was on headlines everywhere. So we even got to interview Uncle Sam to find out a little bit more about what was happening, so check it out. Ah! The government is shut down and it's been placing people in a state of panic. Our phones have been ringing off the hook with people wondering what is going to happen to their current contracts, future contracts, and everything in between. So to help calm the waters, we decided to fly in a special guest to help you answer all of your burning questions. So without further ado, I present to you Uncle Sam!
Good to be here.
Welcome to US Federal Contractor Registration. Everyone is wondering, when is the government going to reopen?
Well, to be honest, we are in uncharted waters. The longest recorded government shutdown was in December 1995 and lasted 21 days. During federal shutdowns, there are certain aspects of the government that will be placed on hold, so to say. It all depends on what the services the government considers to be essential or non-essential. For example, the airports will continue to run, while the Smithsonian National Zoo's panda camera will be shut down.
For those who are in the federal contracting arena, how would the shutdown affect them? For example, can a person still get registered in the system for awards management and obtain a cage code?
This shutdown has been a doozy for sure, but rest assured, those of you who want to register in SAM are safe. As of now, USFCR's case managers are still able to register or renew a vendor in SAM. The timeline, however, has been adjusted.
How so?
Due to the DLA losing some federal employees during this shutdown, we have seen the average registration time jump from being 10 to 15 days to 35 to 40 days.
Wow. How about the set-aside registrations?
That's a great question. Most of the government set-aside registrations go through an approval process with the Small Business Association, SBA for short. If you go on the SBA's main website, you will see at the top that their agency is temporarily shut down, as well as their Certify site informs you that they are not accepting any new registration submissions for HubZone, 8A, Women-Owned Small Business certifications.
Are there any other set-asides or specialty registrations that are showing any sorts of delays?
For veterans who are wondering about their certifications, as of now, we are not seeing much delay. The GSA schedule registration process is showing significant delays, also due to the DLA being short-staffed. If you need an IRAP, formerly known as Wide Area Workflow Registration, WAWF, we can currently process these at normal speeds.
I've noticed a few solicitations have been canceled that some of our clients have been working on. Do you think all contracts are going to halt?
Absolutely not. Certain departments are still spending money. Take a look at your bid alerts daily to see what agencies are still spending and continue to bid. The agencies that are running low on federal funding may potentially cancel contracts that are out, but don't panic. There is a likelihood that the contract will be reinstated once the government reopens and budgets are less tied up.
Oh, that's a relief. What would be the advice that you would give to all vendors out there in regards to the shutdown?
Check out the website for the federal agency that you work with to see if they are shut down or not. If you currently have a contract and a stop work order is issued, you may need to stop work on minimized cost or be offered a cost reimbursement for the adjustment in delivery schedule. Make sure not to stop work unless you receive the stop work order.
Good advice. What agencies have you noticed that are still posting solicitations?
If you look on APP, the Advanced Procurement Portal, you will notice that most of the new solicitations being posted are military agencies such as the Army, VA, Air Force, Defense Logistics Agency, and the Navy. The Department of Interior and Department of Transportation have also recently posted.
Okay, so in recap, your case managers are still able to file your SAM registration and GSA schedule with some delays in the timeline. The VA office is not showing any delays at this time for vendors filing for veteran-owned small business certification or certified disabled veteran-owned small business certification. The Small Business Association is also shut down, which has caused a stop on all new 8A, HubZone, and Women-Owned Small Business certifications. If you're planning on working with the Department of Defense or DLA and are in need of an IRAP, formerly known as Wide Area Workflow, then there's no current delays to that process.
To see if an agency you're targeting is down, visit their website and look for a banner announcement on the shutdown. If you currently have a contract, do not stop work unless issued a stop work order.
Thanks, Uncle Sam. If you're a vendor who has yet to file for your SAM registration, now is the time. Give us a call at 877-252-2700, extension 1, and one of our knowledgeable acquisition specialists will review the qualifications of doing work with the federal government and assign you a case manager. Any last words of advice, Uncle Sam?
I want you to keep bidding!
All right, so thankfully the government is not shut down, so we don't have to deal with all of that. We did record that previously, so if any of you guys were confused, that was previously recorded when the government was shut down, just to clear up the waters right there. But
we just had to show that Uncle Sam cameo.
Yeah, we had to show Uncle Sam. I mean, who doesn't want to see Uncle Sam? So thank you again, though, for watching that. And as you heard again, the government did not shut down, so thankfully we don't have to worry about that. But I do have our head of case management, Jessica Summers, here to talk a little bit with you about what to do if the government does shut down, how it affected registrations of all different types. So we're going to have a quick conversation, and then we're going to get to that APP orientation for you guys. So Jessica, now that I get to talk to you, which I'm super excited about, so how did you guys handle in case management all the different registrations when the government shut down?
Luckily, we are in all of the different systems that coincide with SAM, be it DLA or the APP or Binks or anything like that. We are in those every single day. So we immediately see if there's some sort of effect on those systems. So we'll know how it's going to affect the processing time on registrations.
Okay.
So with that being said, in the beginning of a registration, we always make sure that all of the information is correct and complete before we go into the system to enter it, and that helps to avoid any kind of delays.
Okay, awesome. So when it comes to when the shutdown was occurring, what sort of, did you see any delays? I know we talked a little bit about, Sam didn't really see much delays on your end because you guys do this every single day. But some of the additional ones like GSA got slowed down, Wide Area Workflow got a little slowed down. Tell me a little bit about how the government losing some staffing, how that kind of affected those registrations.
We did see some staffing loss in GSA for sure, and the IRAPT. And basically, the files just got shuffled around between different employees.
Okay.
So with that happening, they have to familiarize themselves with what's going on with that file, and if that invoice has been paid or if there was something else needed. And then GSA, of course, is the same thing. There's a lot of documentation required for that. So
definitely, I know GSA, that takes a hefty amount of time, hefty amount of paperwork. So I give you guys a lot of props for getting that done for everyone. So for those of people who are watching that don't really know what case management does, can you just explain the difference between having a case manager assigned to your registration, such as SAM, versus doing a self-registration?
Well, first and foremost, the time-consuming matter of learning SAM. Everybody says it's easy and you can go in and do it on your own, but there's a lot of information in there that if it's wrong, one, you'll fail. You won't get a cage code. Or you could be penalized later on down the road. So we make sure in the beginning to review your SAM profile worksheets and make sure that your state filing, your IRS information, everything is complete the way it should be, and it matches across the board. So there's no mismatch information that could get you in trouble down the line.
Perfect. I mean, I've always kind of described case management to people like that, kind of like you guys are the CPAs for government registrations, right?
That's a good explanation.
Awesome. So with that being said, too, a lot of our clients also out there are just starting their SAM registration. So with that being said, there was this added requirement of a no reply at login.gov because they changed the login system. Can you explain a little bit about the importance for those new clients out there to get that login.gov email forwarded to their case manager ASAP?
Yeah, it's a new requirement for security issues. There's now 2-factor authentication for SAM and login.gov. So you have to have an administrator set up in the login.gov, which connects to your SAM registration. And the letter, of course, goes out. And if that information doesn't match what's in login.gov, then the letter gets rejected. So one, for security reasons for your SAM, because there's a lot of very important personal business information in a SAM registration. And second of all, to make sure that you're in full compliance. So you got to make sure that you get us those links back so that we can get you set up right.
Okay, awesome. And the notarized letter, which you kind of touched upon in the letter as well.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So thanks again for coming and joining me today.
Thank you.
Any last minute words of wisdom before we get into that APP orientation?
I would just say make sure that if your case manager asks you for something or tells you that something's not correct, be sure to read your emails and get them what they need right away so that they can move you along in the process.
And is it better to communicate with case management via email, phone? What's the best way to get in contact with you guys?
Usually email's the fastest because we're on and off the phone all day long. So if it's a quick question-answer situation, we can answer quickly. Otherwise, if we need more information, we'll pick up the phone.
Okay, perfect. So if they wanted to schedule a call, they just email you. You could schedule a time.
Absolutely.
To be better.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks again for joining me, Jessica. Yay! All right, so I know you're super busy, so again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Go ahead and get those registrations done.
Bye, Jessica.
Bye, Jessica.
She's like, I'm out of here.
She's like, I'm done.
This is Let's Live TV stuff sucks.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks. And I mean, I'm glad that we were able to have Jessica here, and you guys are able to get a kind of a behind-the-scenes point of view on how the government shutdown did affect us, and also to be able to meet one of the essential assets of our team, Jessica Summers. So we're really lucky to have you, Jessica. Thank you. But we're going to take it one step further. So businesses around the world are lucky to have all of us here. And if you needed to get in touch with Jessica or myself, again, feel free to email me, Anna at USFCRGOV.com. I'll have one of our acquisition specialists walk you through what it takes to get your business to succeed in the federal contracting space. But anyway, for moving forward in this place, this should be mandatory for all businesses because it's really that helpful to have a case manager assigned. But if not, you know, that's how some businesses go ahead and fail. So we go live every Friday with an exciting interview about government contracting. Next week, we're going to talk to you about another one of our bright stars here at USFCR, so subscribe with notifications to get a reminder about next week's broadcast, and we'll see you then. So for now, we're going to have you watch this Advanced Procurement Portal in action, and if you have any questions throughout this demo, please post them in the chat, and we'll come back for the live Q&A at the end of this demo, so stick around. All right, everyone, and welcome to the Advanced Procurement Portal New Vendor Orientation. So today we're going to be going through basically how to use the Advanced Procurement Portal to your advantage. This is going to really become the hub for all topics related to government contracting. We wanted to create a system that is time efficient for your busy schedule instead of having to go to multiple sites such as FedBizOps, FPDS, FedGSA. You can simply log into this portal and obtain all the information that you need to be successful in one source. So how to actually set up an account and how do you get a password? So it's really simple. To obtain a username and password for the Advanced Procurement Portal, you simply have to ask your case manager or acquisition specialist to send you an access link. From there, you can set up a unique password that you can share with your team so that everyone at your office that needs the information can utilize the system. To log in, there's two different ways. You can either go directly onto our website at uscontractorregistration.com, and there's an APP login in the right-hand corner for you to sign in, or what I would bookmark in your browser is app.usfcrgov.com, and that'll bring you directly to the APP site. Alright guys, and before I move on to the next section, if you do have any questions throughout this process or want me to explain maybe how to make a relative search for your industry, feel free to email me. Again, my name is Anna Rose and my email is Anna, A-N-N-A, at USFCRGOV.com. Feel free to email me with your questions or what sort of training that you're looking to receive. So let's get started. When you first log into APP, you should see on the homepage we have a nice video for you to go through called Learning Center: The Essentials. This video is really going to break down what is expected of you your first year of contracting. So making sure that you keep this first year as a learning experience. So similar as I think of with federal contracting is applying for a job. So when you apply to a job, you're going to go ahead and put your resume out to multiple companies. You're going to send it out, do the follow-up, go on these interviews. Same thing with federal contracting. So make sure that you're not just submitting your bid proposals out twice through the entire year. You want to submit as many as possible that are relevant to your industry so you're upping your chances. So where you're going to start though is the Learning Center. There's two different spaces you can go in the Learning Center. On the right, you can go to the homepage underneath the video, press these three little dots and go to the Learning Center, or just hit Learning Center on the left and select Contract Learning. All right. So as adult learners, we wanted to create a portal that was self-paced and trackable. So currently we have 6 different lessons in here, and each lesson is going to go through a different aspect of government contracting. It all starts with Lesson 1, Preparing a Bid. So you're going to hit the first lesson. As you go through the system, you're going to be able to navigate each subsection and complete the section with these little check marks you'll see on the right. As you're going through the subsections, you'll see that we have relative information and templates for you to download that are going to help you throughout this process. Feel free to download them and edit them as far as getting your bid proposal created. Besides the Learning Center, we also have a helpful video library to utilize. The video library is where we posted some fantastic videos related to creating a specific marketing strategy and targeting a purchasing officer that you'd like to talk to. There are hundreds of other helpful and detailed videos to watch on the USFCR YouTube channel, so I highly encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to see the latest updates, news, and tips involved with federal contracting. First thing you're going to want to do after you complete the lessons is start getting your relative searches. So we're going to go to the Find Opportunities section. So the Find Opportunities section is a live database of all active and inactive federal opportunities posted on multiple government sites. The opportunities will always be listed in chronological order, with the most recent appearing at the top of the list, making it simple to see the most up-to-date solicitations. So in order to find bids that are relative to your industry, we're going to use the Search Filters button right here. And then you'll notice we have multiple filters that you can utilize. You can utilize both the keywords, the NAICS codes, or your state. Those are the three that are utilized most often. However, you're going to want to play around the system to find what works for you. So for purposes of finding a opportunity right now, we're going to use janitorial as an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type janitorial into the NAICS codes and select the code for janitorial services. If you already know the code, you can just type the number and just select it from the list. As far as selecting a state, if you don't put a state in here, it's going to search on a national level, which is where we honestly want all of you guys to be at a certain point. So really you have to ask yourself, how far are you willing to travel for, let's say, a $2 million contract? Would you keep that within your state? Would you go national? How far are you willing to travel? And make sure that you put that when you're setting up these searches. For purposes right now, let's say that you were in California and you wanted to look at janitorial just for that state in this particular alert. I would put in those two selections and hit the green Apply Filters button. All right. After you go ahead and select the search, you will see then the most recent opportunities for that criteria on this list. If you think that you are seeing relative bids, which in this case we definitely are seeing things that are pretty recent and relative to our search criteria, what we're going to do is save this search for later by hitting the green Save Search button on the right. You're going to want to give this search a relative nickname. I usually use the search criteria, and then I'm going to hit Save and watch for changes. It's going to let you know this search has been saved. So where that search is saved is in the Save Searches tab on the left. When you go to your Save Searches, this is where you're going to see all of the active searches that you have put in here. Here is our janitorial services for California. On the right, you'll notice that there is a blue highlighted eye. This eye is letting you know that you are watching this currently for changes. If you ever thought that this was not a relative search and wanted to change this to just a general search without being watched, you would deselect and the eye would disappear. So if we're going to go back, let's go back to an actual opportunity and just go through some helpful hints that you can utilize here. So these right here, if we hit View More, that is what's called the notice type. There will be different types of notices. These describe how to actually respond to the federal contract. So if you want to look, I'll go back actually, and you can take a look at this list. A modification or amendment is something that they have modified. Most of them are going to be a little self-explanatory. They've modified it whether they changed the date that the contract is due, maybe they changed the requirement. Either way, they've modified something, so you definitely want to look at the timeline of that solicitation to see the changes. The timeline for that will be located on the right under Opportunity Timeline. The other ones you'll see is Actual Combined Synopsis Solicitation. That's the solicitation itself. You'll see Sources Sought, which are what I like to call market research. So the government is not looking usually for a full bid response. They're just looking for you to respond saying that you are able to perform that type of work. In some cases, they want you to send over your capability statement, capability statement, the fact that we give you this is like a one-pager that gives them, the purchasing officer, all they need to know about the vendor. Which definitely, if you don't have that done yet, you want to get with your acquisition specialist and have them walk you through, that capability statement, or attend our group bid trainings. If you're not currently on the group bid trainings, definitely ask your acquisition specialist how to get on there as well. So some other helpful tools that you'll see in here when you're looking at solicitations that you really want to pay attention to. First thing is the posted date, the original posted date, and the response date. So the original posted date was when the solicitation was originally made. In this case, it was a pre-solicitation, so that way you know what was changed in between. This is the posted date for this particular modification, and then the response date is when this solicitation is due back. So want to make sure this is still open before you go ahead with the bidding process. Next thing to look at is the set-aside. In this case, this is a total small business set-aside. Here at US Federal Contractor Registration, we do help you with all the different set-aside qualifications. And message me if you have a question on them. My email is anna@usfcrgov.com. So you can go ahead and send me an email, and I'd be happy to answer any questions on these set-asides. All right, another helpful tool, you'll have the contact information for the procurement officer. There's the place of performance under location versus the office address. The place of performance is where the actual contract is taking place, versus we have the office address, which is for the purchasing agent. So you want to make sure that the place of performance is still somewhere that you're willing to travel. You have the files, which you definitely want to take a look at any file that a purchasing officer will put on here for you. And then this helpful link right here to FBO. Let's say you have someone that is not currently working with US Federal Contractor Registration and you wanted to send them a solicitation and they don't have a login yet, you can go ahead and send them the link to FedBizOps and they can view the solicitation right there. Okay, so now that we've set up a search, we're going to go to where those searches are going to actually populate a list for you, which is called My Federal Feed. Since the saved searches we already have set up in here, they're actually populating a list of all the active federal opportunities based off of this current saved searches. So every day that you come in, after you've set up the correct searches, you'll have a running total of all the federal opportunities that are active. On the right, it'll give you the date and time, what the set-aside is. You can mark them as red, you can archive them, whatever you need to do in order to really organize your life. This is something that's very unique to US Federal Contractor Registration's APP. Also want to make sure you set your email alerts by clicking the gray box at the top. You can set the alert daily if you want the system to search daily for you, if you want it to search during a particular time of day. However you want to set it up so that you know that you're going to have an alert set to you at a time that you're going to really pay attention to your email. And again, as mentioned before, if you guys have any questions and you're not seeing any sort of relevant searches coming up in your federal feed, feel free to email me. We can schedule some time to talk about the searches that you have set up. Again, my name's Anna Rose and my email is Anna, A-N-N-A, @USFCRGov.com. All right, so if you're using the search filters in the vendors tool, this is a database of all registered parties in SAM. So you can see any past contracts that they were awarded, including data on their annual revenue, any codes or points of contact that you're going to need. So let's see here, I'm going to do the same search as earlier. I click on the first one so you can see an example. So All American Window Cleaning Inc. At the top right here, you can see they've had 6 total contracts in their lifetime. That's really awesome. So they're definitely going after contracts. We can get some information on their DUNS cage code, their annual revenue, employees. All this information is filled in once they've had a contract. One of the other things that you can do in this vendor search is you can take a look and see if they're in the Simplified Acquisitions program. I'm just going to show you guys a little bit about the Simplified Acquisition program and the federally formatted website. If you take a look, this is an example of one of the federally formatted websites that we created for this vendor right here. So we do have all of their NAICS codes listed on the top. We let them know they are a verified vendor for the next coming year. They are listed in SAM. You're not only going to have their vendor profile, but also a copy of that capability statement that we touched upon. Definitely want to make sure that that is in here correctly so the government knows a little bit more about your products and services. There's a reference page, so past performance. They put some testimonials that they've done as far as contracts goes. And then you have testimonials portion, a photo gallery of some recent projects, and then we also have the contact page. So if you're not sure about if you guys have a federally formatted website, you want to know more about how to get that, again, talk to your acquisition specialist or your case manager and ask them about the Simplified Acquisitions Program. So for those of you who just have a SAM registration with us, you're going to have the APP Lite version. Our full access will have a little bit more in the vendor search that's available to them that you're going to see on my screen right now. If you don't have the full version, definitely get with your acquisition specialist or your case manager. They will hook you up. So you can actually save this vendor. Let's say you like them, you wanted to contact them for a subcontracting opportunity. You would hit watch vendor. After you give the vendor a call, you can mark that you contacted them and then leave some relative notes letting you know something unique about this. Looking for subs. Save it, and then this information is going to be in your government CRM. All right, so this government CRM is really what keeps track of all modifications to that vendor, as well as any notes or correspondence that you've manually put in order to keep track of your conversations. In addition to the vendor search, in the full version of APP, you also have access to all the information for the purchasing agents. So what you would do is you go to the agent finder, and then you can see and search by any agent that is currently right now or has been in the past awarded contracts in your area of expertise. So we'll put in janitorial and California, hit apply filters, and we're going to get a running list of all officers that have actually put out solicitations for that industry. It looks like we have 349. So if you're finding that your list is 349 long, you'll probably want to go back to these filters and maybe go ahead and target a specific agency. Maybe you want to go after the VA, something to make your list a little bit more specific so you're not calling on 349 officers. But if you go ahead, you can hit view more. You can get the email for the agent. You can have all the different codes that this agent currently works. You can see all the different opportunities they've ever posted, the most popular NACE code that they deal with, so you can reach out in particular to that one, as well as any recent postings they have put on. Let's say you went ahead and you liked this agent, you wanted to save it. Again, you can watch the agent, you can mark them as contacted, you could leave a note. Anything that you can put on there that would make the contract officer connection a little bit more strong, more personable, definitely want to put those notes in there. And then the same thing, they're going to show up in this government CRM. So the last and sometimes most exciting part of the APP is this contract catalog. So this is where you can have a live feed of where the government is spending their money, making it easier for you to accurately price your bid proposals. So same thing as before, you can see based off of the different search criteria that we have, we can see contracts starting with a certain amount, ending with a certain amount, start date, end date. You can put in your code, your state. Again, you can go ahead and play around with this and take a look, but I'll just show you what they look like. If you hit view more. Okay, you can see that in this particular one, there were 3 offers for this particular contract. You can see what the contracting officer put as a description. The description is all based off the contracting officer. Some will be more descriptive than others. In this place, they bought some plywood for construction. Great. You can see the amount of money that they paid for it. You can see the purchasing agent. So if you were doing something similar and you wanted to be proactive and reach out to that officer, just go ahead and take this purchasing officer's information, reach out to them using the agent finder, as long as you have that available. Pays performance, and then this is the information for the vendor that did end up getting this contract. So something really unique too that you guys should know about is if you go up to the top and you wanted to see other contracts that this vendor was awarded, you're going to click this little up arrow and it's actually going to bring you back to the vendor's profile as long as you have the full access, and you can then see all the contracts that this contractor has been awarded. So you can see all the dollars they've been awarded, their contracts, and every single one will be on this list right here for you to look at, making it really easy for you to navigate between the different sections. If you have any questions on government spending and you want to know a little bit more about where the government might be spending in your actual industry, you want to come up with maybe some good brainstorming on the right search, relevant tools, feel free to join our mastermind group. It is a Facebook group. It's just for our clients only. It's really an exclusive community where your ideas can be shared. You can link up with other vendors. You can talk with myself, Anna Rose, as well as some other really helpful people here at the company that can help you along this journey. So thanks again for joining the APP New Vendor Orientation. My name is Anna Rose. Feel free to email me questions at anna@usfcrgov.com, and I look forward to assisting you to win your first of many government contracts. And now we're back. All right, so that is our new vendor orientation with APP. So if you have any questions now related to APP or in general about federal contracting, this is the live Q&A portion of our Friday lives. So feel free to type your questions into the chat, no matter how big, small. If you think you're on the beginning stages or the ending stages, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to type your questions in the chat, and we'll get to as many as we can. So, David, what is our first question we have?
JC. Sound. Oh, okay. JC wants to know how to submit a bid. How to submit a bid. Okay. Hi, JC. Thanks for watching.
So, how you submit a bid, you're going to want to look at the instructions to offer, which is part of the solicitation package that you'll see when you're looking at this. So in the instructions to offer, the government's going to let you know who the point of contact is that you're going to be submitting the information to. So whether it's a purchasing agent or a contracting officer. It's also going to let you know how they want it submitted, via mail, email, or sometimes they want it to be faxed. They'll let you know specifically what documentation needs to be submitted, whether it's the technical capabilities, past performance, if there's any standard forms such as the standard price form 1449 or standard form 18, they'll let you know that. They'll also let you know of any additional information that needs to be submitted, such as line items, and also the time and date stamp of when it has to be submitted. So when you're looking on your solicitations, look for instructions to offer, and then it's going to give you all of that information on how to submit the bid. So there you go. That's on a traditional solicitation. If it's something with the DLA and it's on DIBS, then that's separate because they would like you usually to submit through the DIBS bid board. And also if it's through GSA, sometimes they want you to submit it through there. You also will sometimes find that the government wants the bids submitted through third-party sites such as FedBid or FedConnect. Those are some third-party sites the government uses. If they tell you where to submit the bid, use what they tell you, no matter what site it is. So hopefully that answers your question. If you have a specific solicitation in mind, feel free to type it in the chat. I'd be happy to pull it up here on the screen and kind of break it down a little bit more specific for you.
That's what you do in bid training, right?
That is what I do in bid training too. So if you're one of our bid training clients or you want to learn about bid training, feel free to email me. I'll have one of our acquisition specialists talk to you. In bid training, I literally go through and I break down the solicitations for you. So it always starts with a little mini lesson where I go through the topic of the day. Like today's bid training, we went through the different notice types that you're going to see on FBO or APP. So we went through the notice types, how to respond to them, and then the last portion was all Q&A of any solicitations, capability statements, or bid proposals that our clients are working on. That way they can have me have a fresh set of eyes take a look, see if there's anything that I see that might be a red flag or something they need to work on, maybe understanding a little bit of the government's wording, how they say things in there. I can really break it down for you.
Cool. Another question.
All right, what's the other question?
It's on the screen.
Do you have a sample proposal as a template? All right, so as far as a template goes for a bid proposal, we do have a sample bid proposal in the APP in the Learning Center. So if you go to the Learning Center under Master Bid Template, I think David's gonna try to pull that up on the screen for you guys. but it's master bid template. You can actually download that in a Microsoft Word version and use that as a template for you to fill out. One of the things when you're using the master bid template is you want to pay attention again to the instructions to offer in the solicitation itself to find out what they need submitted back to them, because sometimes they don't need that entire bid template sent back to them. Sometimes they only want a cover page, maybe the price form sheet, and a technical proposal, maybe past performance. Sometimes they want an index page. They also want you to add signature pages. Usually they want your reps inserts. Always have your reps inserts. But you're going to use that bid template as your starting point. So you can actually fill a lot of that information out ahead of time, minus the capabilities and the price proposal. Those are all separate depending on the actual proposal itself. So good question.
Let me see if there's anything else.
All right, any other questions in the chat? And if you guys have a question, feel free to ask. I'd be happy to answer.
When is the next bid training?
Awesome. So next bid training is going to be Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We send out the links to all of our bid training clients on Mondays between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're one of our bid training clients, you should get that email between 11 and 12. First session will be on Monday at 4 o'clock Eastern. And if you're not already a bid training client, just give me an email or contact your acquisition specialist or case manager, and they can talk to you about how to get on those trainings.
Just put your email on the screen.
Awesome. Yeah. Feel free to email me. I'm friendly.
Looks like that's it.
That's it. All right. Nice and easy Friday. Well, happy belated Valentine's Day to everyone out there. Much love from USFCR. Got my rose right here. All right. Hope you all have a great weekend. I will see you next week, next Friday, and we'll have a new special guest, new interviews, and hopefully I'll see you all on bid training. Have a great weekend.